Shout out to Money Brown, man. Earl Spencer Jr. My boy Money Brown, he get a lot of money, that's why I call him Money Brown.
What's good, Money Brown TV? What up, what up?
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Money Brown TV. Thank you so much for everything.
Hey, this is Ryan Garcia here. Shout out to Money Brown TV and keep punching, baby.
Yo, what's going on at the fight? Well, this is your boy Money back with another one, man. And this one here is on the top dogs at the welterweight division. We got Earl the True Spence Jr., who is the unified WBC and IBF welterweight world champion. It's the #1 welterweight world champion. Fit to take on Manny Pacquiao. Look like it's going to be a unification bout where if he's victorious, he'll hold 3 scraps with the WBA Super. Then we have Terence Crawford, the 3-division world champion, the former undisputed world champion, the current WBO welterweight world champion, who is in position to face Errol Spence for undisputed, assuming Errol Spence is victorious against Manny Pacquiao. Now, we all know Errol Spence's mission was to be undisputed at 147 pounds, family. We're going to stop bull crapping around the tree. We're going to tell it how it is. Errol Spence wanted to be undisputed at the 147-pound division. He's 1 scrap away from holding 3 titles, the WBC, the IBF, and the WBA Super if he's victorious against Manny Pacquiao. Now, Earl has been on a mission, and he's been telling people his mission as he was going along. You know, he wanted to fight Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, and Keith Thurman because they was all on the PBC side, and that was his dream because he felt like if he take all those cats out, by the end of that, he will be undisputed, knowing the WBO was on the side of top rank in the first place. But Earl never differentiated from his path and his dream, and he never told us a different story. Never told us a different story. Ward's going to take on Dennis Ugas, who was the WBA Super World Champion, but it switched over to Manny Pacquiao, which is a way bigger fight. And after that, he said he wants to take on this man right here, in Terence T-Bud Crawford, the #2 welterweight in the world. One hell of a fighter. Like I say, 3 divisions, former undisputed, and now he's in position, right? In position to become undisputed in 2 fucking weight divisions. 2 weight divisions. But we all know that he has an ego that he won't let go. You know what I mean? He won't let go. Now, 147, Bud has been on a mission. He has been whooping this cat, whooping that cat, and he stopped everybody that he faced at 147 pounds. And the notion out is nobody is really thrilled about Terence Crawford's resume, but you can't take away from his skill set. The skill set in the ring is just one hell of a skill set. He's a switch hitter, and the way he's defeating these dudes, he walking them down, he fighting them, and he knocking them out. You got to give him his just due. You got to give him his credit. But when it comes to Terence Crawford, he say he wanted to fight Earl Spence, this, that, and all these things. But if we really sit back and watch, they didn't hold the cards. Never did they hold the cards. Never was Bob Arum was going to send a contract to Earl Spence, right? We all know the contract was coming from the PBC side in the first place. And that's just the fact of the matter. That's the fact of the matter. So when we hear, what we at now is Errol Spence is his position because he always been in position at 147 over Terence Crawford, right? He always been an A side. But when we're looking at the situation, man, Earl is telling this man that he want to fight. Earl is telling T-Bud Crawford, okay, I want to fight. Now, the back and forth between the two, we know they had FaceTime calls. You know, they going back and forth. They met up at the Maurice Hooker and Alex Adejo fight. We all understand what happened there. A lot of people like to take those words and mix them up and make them one-sided, which is just bullcrap to me. But at the end of the day, Earl Spence told this man, I will see you. You know what I mean? I will see you. And Earl Spence is continuing to say that he will see Terence Crawford. And he wants the fight. And now the fight is closer than ever. And my guy heard Terence Crawford saying the fight is behind him. He don't want it no more. He doesn't want the fight, right? Which I think is just ego-driven. And I think Terence Crawford knew he had the Manny Pacquiao fight set up. So, of course, he can come out and say, you know what? I got Manny Pacquiao. And if I got Manny Pacquiao, I don't need an Earl Spence Jr. Who is he compared to Manny Pacquiao, right? What has he done to say that he's bigger than Manny Pacquiao? If I'm fit to take on Manny Pacquiao, defeat Manny Pacquiao, right? That recognition goes to me. I'm going to fight on pay-per-view. It's going to be the biggest pay-per-view that I've been on. And now, when you look at my resume, even though the names are, past they due, and I got a couple young names on here, including Jeff Horn, who I give him credit for, who defeated Manny Pacquiao to become the WBO World Champion, right? Now that I got Manny Pacquiao on here, who on Earl Spence's resume compares to Manny Pacquiao? That was the notion. That's what everybody wanted to say. And you know what? They would have had somewhat of a point. Somewhat. And I can't deny that. But even with Manny Pacquiao and Terence Bud Crawford resume, with Earl Spence holding 2 titles, right? And if he was going to go face another top 10 welterweight, he still would have been an A-side over Terence Bud Crawford. So we knew if Bud would have got Pacquiao and defeated Pacquiao, it still would have been hard to make this fight happen. Still would have been hard. But now let's check this out, family, where we at now. Terence Bud Crawford, we don't know who he's going to fight next, right? The Pacquiao fight got snatched off the table because of Bob Arum. Bob Arum sat up here and told him, you know, I could have made the fight happen, but I wouldn't go risk it because I don't feel like I would have got a return back that I was looking for. You see? But we got Al Heyman who's taking a chance and giving Manny Pacquiao money to fight Errol Spence, right? Because they see the bigger picture. Bob Arum don't give a damn about the bigger picture. He cares about the now and what's coming back for him. So the bigger picture for the outside is making Errol Spence a bigger star, getting Errol Spence another scrap if he's victorious, and put Errol Spence in position to fight for undisputed against Terence Bud Crawford, and at the same time being the A-side and controlling all the cards on this table. So now that Bud sees those things, he's not speaking out for Earl Spence. It don't look like he don't want to fight anymore. Now it look like they set him up to face, 140 pounders. We got Regis Prograis, Cepeda, and if I'm not mistaken, Jose Ramirez, who just lost to Josh Taylor, right? When you should be trying to get Josh Taylor, but we know he got a mandatory coming up. So, Bud, you're willing to face somebody that's just lost, and then you got Regis Prograis, you got Cepeda right there. All these guys at 140, you willing to take on these guys? Which is it's okay because Earl got Manny Pacquiao. So now Bud has to fight somebody. But between those guys, Bob Arum could have put one of them in the ring with you in July. On your fight date, you had a fight date set up where you could have arguably put one of those dudes in there with you in July, and then let the fall in the wintertime be the fall in the wintertime. But instead, he's going to stall you all the way out to September or October to face one of these dudes. Knowing you can face Errol Spence at the end of the year, you have to do better, Bud. You have to do better. And a lot of cats be making it like I'm hating on Terence Bud Crawford. No, I'm not, man. I'm a fan of Terence Bud Crawford. I've been riding for Terence Bud Crawford longer than a lot of y'all bandwagons. Longer than a lot of y'all bandwagons, and pay for his fights. Paid for the pay-per-views. Not stream or none of that shit. Paid for them. You feel me? But now that Bud see that Earl Spence has Manny Pacquiao, Earl Spence for to have 3 scraps, assuming he's victorious, and you really is going to be the B-side. You're really going to be the B-side. But if Earl Spence beat Manny Pacquiao, he offered Terence Bud Crawford 60-40. Terence Bud Crawford needs to accept that 60-40 because it's a courtesy, dog. It's a damn good courtesy. You need to accept that 60-40 and get Earl Spence the respect that he deserves, man. Because if it was somebody else at 147, name wasn't Earl Spence, and they had the same resume and the accolades that Earl Spence had, right? In my opinion, just my opinion, not y'all, I think Terence Bud Crawford would accept 60-40. I think he will. I think it's just because it's Earl Spence Jr., right? Somebody that you're in competition with, somebody that you say have a short little career because he's not in 3 divisions, or he don't have an undisputed accolade behind him, and you feel like you've done more in the sport and that you deserve 50-50 or 60-40 your way. Which is not the case, Bud. It's not the case, bro. We got to keep it real. Because if we going off of accolades, and I want y'all to hear me good, if we going off of accolades, when Terence Bud Crawford fought, when he fought Julius and Dongo, they both was unified champions at 140 pounds. Both was unified champions at 140 pounds. Did Julius and Dongo get 50-50? Did he? Keep it real. Bud got the larger share. Why did Bud get the larger share? Because he was the hotter name and he put more asses in the seats in America. And that's a fact. And Bud knows the business. Bomac knows the business. They know for a fact, man, that Earl Spence deserves 60-40, dog. And beating Manny Pacquiao and holding 3 scraps, you probably deserve more. So if the man offering 60-40, bro, you better snatch that shit and run with it. You better take it and run with it, bro. And give us the fight that we all want as the fans at 147 pounds. Now, y'all like to say that, well, Earl didn't want to fight Bud when Bud was trying to fight him. He could have fought Bud then. He could have fought Bud here. Oh, man, he told Bud to get a belt. He said this. But guess what? We heard now, bro. We heard. Regardless of what y'all want to say, look back at this, look back at that. Because, like I say, the fight only been realistic for 1 year when I break this shit all the way down. And I'd have broke it down plenty of times. Especially with Earl Spence getting into a goddamn accident and sitting out for almost a whole year. See what I'm saying? Back then when Bud just signed a contract to ESPN, He just signed the contract to ESPN. Y'all think ESPN's gonna let Terence Bud Crawford come over to PBC and not make their money off of Bud Crawford and risk him losing to Errol Spence, getting his WBO took and then going back to ESPN without nothing? Letting Errol Spence take that thunder? Nah, it wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. And vice versa. Al wasn't sending Earl to ESPN, right? And risk losing his title and let Bud and ESPN take off with all the thunder. So really it's a business decision for them really not to fight each other because of the networks and the timing of the fight. The timing of the fight. So now let me say this, because people always say, man, we could have got a trilogy right now. Them dudes won't go fight each other no damn 3 times, man. Cut the bullshit. Whoever would have won that fight would have went on with the recognition and would have been fighting the other PBC fighters or the other top welterweights. And once they become undisputed, they going up to 154. So let's stop that. Oh, we would have had 3 fights by now. No, the hell we wouldn't, bro. Keep it real. Keep it real, man. Errol Spence is in a position right now. This is where we at right now, family. This is what's going down right now as we speak. Errol Spence for to fight Manny Pacquiao, as we all know. They putting the WBA super back in position. So if Earl is fucking victorious, you have Earl with 3 scraps. You have Bud with 1 scrap. Earl telling him, let's fight for undisputed. And when Errol Spence say he want to fight him, and when he push up on him, that shit is going to send shockwaves through the boxing world. And the ball is going to be in Terence Bud Crawford court. And if Earl out here calling out Bud, and he's the fucking unified champion, the #1 welterweight, and Bud talking about, nah, I don't want to fight you. No, I'm done. That fight behind me. People going to look at Bud and say he's scared of Errol Spence. He don't want none of Errol Spence. Why don't you want to fight for undisputed, Bud? Why don't you want to fight for the biggest fight of your career? The biggest payday of your career? Why don't you want that fight? What's the real reason? You know what I mean? That's going to be the people, and that's going to what the people are going to be saying, because Earl is not going to sit around and waste his time trying to force you to fight. Because one thing about Errol Spence is he's taking his career in his own hands. He's not going to wait on nobody. And he know that his legacy is at 154 and at 160 as well. You dig? Bud went from 35, 40, and 47. Earl has 2 other weight classes, maybe even 3. You understand me? So he's not going to sit around. Even though this is a big-ass fight, arguably the biggest fight in boxing right now at 147, right? He's not going to sit around and let somebody dictate his career. And that's why Canelo got so much respect for Earl Spence, because he's moving, and he ain't just standing still begging for a fight. He making shit happen on his own. That's why his legacy going to be one of the biggest legacy in boxing, bro. One of the biggest legacy in boxing. I'm saying it here now. Bud, accept the 60-40, bro. Accept it, because it is a courtesy for Earl Spencer to still be offering 60-40. Accept it, bro. And if you victorious, bro, you just made history, and you in position to get more money now. Come on, bro. It's not rocket science. This is common sense. And the ones out there that talking about Earl Spence need to up 50-50, stop it, bro. Stop it. The man worked his ass off to be in this position. The man been doing all the heavy lifting. And it's only right that the man get an extra 10%. It's only right, bro. You feel me? It's only right. So this is the fight that we all want. This is the fight that we all need to push for. If Errol Spence if they put the WBA super in play and Earl is victorious and have 3 scraps, Errol Spence versus Terence Bud Crawford is the only thing at 147 that should be moving and grooving. Nothing else. Nothing else. You feel me? Errol Spence is doing his part. He's sticking to his word. He's a man of his word, and he deserves respect, bro. He deserves respect. Even if you don't like the man, he deserves respect. Period. The resume speaks for itself. The attitude speaks for itself. The heart of being in the crash and coming right back, fighting top competition, speak for itself. And the man want to be great, and he's daring to be great. And that shit should be respected, and that's what we need in boxing, dog. That's what we need in boxing. So Terence Bud Crawford, accept the 60-40, get into the ring, give us the fight we want, and let the chips fall where they may. Errol Spence, my bro, I wish you good luck August 21st against Manny Pacquiao. Gonna be a hell of a fight. Handle your business. Terence Bud Crawford, wish you good luck in September, October with whomever you face. Leave top rank and get your business in order and give us the fight that we want. Until the end, it's your boy Marty. It's the ANSBC moving. Ain't nobody safe in these streets. Hit them thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you want to donate OG money on Cash App. TreyHampton52@gmail.com on PayPal. If not, just tell a friend, hit the subscribe button. Like, comment, share the video. And y'all know how your boy get down, man. Big dog status, family.